Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. We have a special guest on this episode of the podcast, Mr. Bryan Johnson, and we realize that a lot of you might be checking out Funbearable for the first time because of your deep-seated love for Bryan Johnson.
Or for the entire TESD Town Takeover in the month of November.
Yes.
We appreciate everyone checking us out. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on iTunes, that would be awesome.
It's usually better than this.
And we also wanted to say that if you enjoyed this episode, there's a couple other episodes you might enjoy. This was actually the second fully dedicated boy crimes episode. We started with boy crimes previously, so there is a boy crimes episode before this. If you like the concept, we've done that.
Yeah, if you're like, wow, that court was amazing, right? We've got another one in the bag for you.
Absolutely. And also, Brian's a big fan of Rick and Morty. So am I. We do podcast. We do
That's
panels.
a cartoon, by the way.
Yes,
It's a television show.
It's not two men. It's a show.
Yeah.
But we do.
It's not like a morning radio, Rick and Morty in the morning.
Right. We moderate panels at Comic-Cons once in a while, Brad and myself. And I actually had the pleasure of moderating for Chris Parnell and Harry Belden, the voice of Morty and the voice of Jerry in New Jersey. And we released that recently. It was a really fun panel. If you want to check that out, it's on the feed. It is the Rick and Morty panel episode.
I mean,
obviously.
we had the pleasure of moderating. There were two of us on stage. I know Chuck said that it was only
I forgot.
him. Yeah.
I forgot your Brad was there.
I wasn't there. I was busy.
But we have a lot of that stuff on the feed. A lot of stuff to check out. The Game On episode with Walt Flanagan and Get 'em.
Oh,
and
great.
all the previous Tell 'em Steve Dave guys that have been on.
Yes.
So please enjoy those if you like, and definitely enjoy our time talking about boy crimes with Johnson/Bry.
That's right now. That didn't work.
It was very close.
Didn't work.
That was a close run.
You know what? That was the worst part of that intro.
Yeah, it really was. And there was some real bad shit in it.
I should have said comma, Bry. Is that why?
Yeah, that's it. Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Funbearable. I am Brad Rohr.
I'm Ray Harrington.
I'm Chuck Staten. And today, we got a special guest. Give it up. Tell them who you are, buddy.
I'm Bryan Johnson.
Bryan Johnson from Tell 'em Steve Dave and Comic Book Man and all the
Resounding who?
stuff. Man, I'm so glad we finally got you on. We haven't had you on yet.
Not yet.
And I really appreciate you coming on.
What took you so long? 120 episodes?
I know. Well, it's getting these guys to Jersey is the
okay.
thing.
I know Jersey guys.
We've done. They're from Rhode Island still, so we do most of the podcast there. We've done a couple episodes in New York, New Jersey.
That's also how we refer to climaxing, is getting to Jersey.
Getting to Jersey?
Yeah. And Chuck is it takes a while to get to Jersey.
Jersey with him?
The closest I've made it is New Haven.
So Walt asked us to come on game night, so they were coming up to do that, and I said, let's get some of the guys, and so we're having an episode with you, and on Funbearable, we do this thing once in a while. We kind of recently started making it an official thing. I thought it'd be perfect for you to be here for this, and so who wants to explain it, Brad or Ray? I think one of you guys.
it's Ray.
Sure.
Race,
Well,
maybe.
first, thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate. I've been a nerd of the particular universe, the Viewsk universe, and it's really fun to have you here. I think famously, for any listener viewers who might not know, which seems strange, you were kind of like the inspiration for Randall.
For Randall, yep, the biggest dick in the movie. Yeah.
But also like the one that I think everybody was like, yeah, that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
I'm not even going to do the silly thing where on a podcast I ask you like, what was it like being a person that influenced and inspired this very beloved character for people, because we deal with that often on the show. Brad has a character that was inspired by him, Chuck as well, in famous movies. For Brad, have you seen Powder?
I have seen Powder, yes. And
Thank you for
so that he's not Powder?
That's why I came on.
Yeah, he's doing
I'll
great.
see you guys later.
Lost some of his powers, gained some hair, so that was cool. And then obviously Chuck, Cape Fear. That was based all solely on Chuck's 13th summer vacation.
I was gonna say one weekend. It was actually one weekend.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a good
And
weekend.
then Fear also,
Yes.
not just Cape Fear.
That's
And
right.
of course,
Yeah.
Ray influenced so many of the characters in Schindler's List.
Thank you. All the ones that were like, no, I don't need a shower right now. Oh, this got weird. No, we like to do a nice little thing here. We talk about boy crimes. Now, that could be taken inappropriately. Boy crimes are a very specific thing. It is something that any gender can have done in their adolescence, right? We're thinking middle school up to tail end of high school.
Like mischief.
Yeah,
you know, the kind of
it's
shit
like
you get into.
innocent shenanigans, or something that you thought was severely illegal, but it was really just a small thing when you look back on it. Or it was illegal, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah,
you know, we've done some really fun stuff with that, and we started talking about boy crimes, and then viewer listeners started writing in with their boy crimes that they've done. Some extremely current boy crimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're almost accomplices in some of these boy crimes.
Oh, you could be called into court.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. At least the court of public opinion.
Yes.
And in doing this, we've kind of created our own court system for boy crimes.
Yes.
And a lovely viewer listener, Sabrina the Sposh Bear, gave us this beautiful gavel and plinth.
I don't know what that's called.
Bangy
bass. Gavel bass.
Gavel bass.
Yeah.
Have you heard them? Fantastic band.
Yes.
My favorite.
Gavel bass. And so what we like to do is we have viewer listeners write in their boy crimes, and we judge whether or not they are. And this is very similar to one of the problems we had on game night. I think if they're innocent, that means it's just a boy crime, not a full crime. If they're guilty, it's a full crime. But you think, go ahead.
What I think makes more sense is that they write in with their crimes, and if it's just a boy crime, then they're guilty of a boy crime. But if it's like, I murdered my neighbor's dog, then that's like way more than a boy crime, so they're innocent of a boy crime.
I gotcha. Okay.
So we don't know which one means which.
So it's like felony versus misdemeanor.
Exactly. That's what I think. That's what I think. That might be a better way to, like, a boy crime or a felony, and you have to say guilty of one or the other.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a
I guess
a felony. Like FELLA.
Wow.
Boy crime or
Or
a
a
felony.
missing misdemeanor, Elliot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is a lot of fun. And to do that, you have to be a judge.
Right.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Love judging people.
Yeah, exactly. I knew he
So-
likes mischief and judging.
Yeah.
So how could you possibly judge someone without the right
Without your wig.
hair?
Now, we brought a wig for you, but you don't have
Right.
to wear a wig.
You
It's
don't
up
have
to you.
You don't feel obligated.
I mean, I feel like if I'm going to be part of the show, I'm going to be part of the show.
Yeah. I know Johnson. I know how he is. Brand new wig.
Oh, nice.
Out of the package. And to fill listeners in as well, you know, I've worked with Bryan. We've worked together for 8 years now.
Yeah, a long time.
2016. It was live at the Gramercy in 2016. Brad was there.
I was technically a camera operator on that shoot.
Yeah, and that was the first time I worked for Tell 'em Steve Dave. And then, soon after, we did a couple Blu-rays together that I worked on. I directed some stuff. I edited some stuff. And then after Comic Book Men went off the air, we started the Patreon in 2018. And it's been kind of extremely consistent since then. And we've never missed a week of the Patreon.
Oh, it's backwards.
Is it backwards?
There we go.
All right.
Oh, look at this.
Looking good.
Yes.
Great. That's great.
Yes.
Matches the beard.
I might bring this home to my wife tonight.
You can have the gavel, too.
Yeah.
Just watch it before you go back
Over
to it.
here. You're about to be judged.
Oh, I feel bad for the stenographer.
Corner. Get him. So, Brad, you have some boy crimes?
We have some viewer listeners have written in with their boy with their boy crimes, and it's up to us to adjudicate and rule on their boy crime ness.
Well, let me say, and I'm so happy to do this. Oh yay! Oh yay! Court is in session.
And I'd say, you know, if this sparks any memories of boy crimes, throw them on, or felonies, anything, throw them on the
Right,
table.
okay.
You know, anything
Yeah,
that comes
a lot
up.
of these end up being like, somebody will be like, and then I lit a bag of poop on fire and put it by the door, and then we're like, yeah, that reminds me of the time I burned down that orphanage.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
was
we're
about to say, I do have something along those lines where I set fire to, I was a paper boy when I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah.
And I went into a rooming house and I was like, well, this looks like a good place to start a fire. So I took my newspapers and I just lit them up and just left them in the hallway because I didn't feel like delivering them.
How many?
Probably like 4 or 5
Damn.
Like enough that it would have, if had it caught, it would have taken down the whole rooming house. There's people living there. Like I think back and I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with me?
Oh, dude, that's
Like, what is the matter with me that I would do that?
Sorry, I have a cat-related phone call.
a cat-related phone.
Not related.
This is the most Brad thing that's ever happened on the podcast.
She did what?
I told her not to talk to him anymore.
Oh God! I mean,
Don't you have a fire story too?
I have a couple of fire stories.
Give us some fire starter,
What is
man.
it about fire when you're young that you're just
love
like, I just want to light it up, man?
I was fucking so into fire.
I think you're just. Okay. All right. Good. What a way to find out.
We were talking here about how Brad is kind of an alternate universe. Get him?
Oh, yeah.
And boy, oh boy, yeah.
Just the idea of like, hang on, I have a cat related phone call.
Right, yeah.
That's my cat sitter called, and I'm like, oh, if there's a problem, I want to know about it.
And what was the problem?
She solved it as I was answering the phone.
What was the problem?
She couldn't get into my car door.
I see.
Rosie has a gun and she's pointing it. Oh, never mind. She put it down.
Oh, it gave her a treat and she put it down. All right.
Oh, so fire. Yeah. So I think the most egregious fire situation. I think as a kid, you're just fascinated with the idea of this thing. It's a naturally occurring thing that consumes, but also looks neat. And now I just sound like a pyromaniac.
Yeah.
But I was a kid. We had Strike Anywhere matches, probably 5th, 6th grade, somewhere in there.
What does that mean that you can do it in the rain?
So no. So a Strike Anywhere match is instead of using the
you
thing
can
on
do
the
it off
side,
like a rock?
you can do it off of any like rough surface.
I've
Right?
never had a match
If you ever
like
see
that.
a cool movie where somebody like flicks their nail on the match, it's
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah, I was fascinated with him. I loved MacGyver when I was a kid. He always had some Strike Anywhere matches with him, so I was like, I need to do that. So a friend and I were in downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and we were playing with Strike Anywhere matches in the back of a building that was closed for the day.
Okay.
And we were lighting them, and that's it. And then we would toss them in this dumpster, and we're doing that, and they're out.
Yeah.
Throw them in. One of them wasn't out. The dumpster catches on fire. We try to control it. It very quickly becomes uncontrollable. So as 5th or 6th graders at this building that is closed, we just put the lid down on the dumpster and we pedaled our bikes as fast as we could away. We look back, huge plumes of black smoke because it started burning like the plastic rubber lids.
Yeah.
And it was the back of a post office. So it was like a mail thing. And I think that might be felony. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like more than a boy crime.
Yeah. Well, no, it was
Felony.
boy crime.
All the judges fighting over the
It was a complete accident. It wasn't like, let's set this dumpster on fire. That happened. And then we pedaled it away as fast as we could.
Well, while we're talking about
Nobody
fire,
was hurt.
let me read this first email.
Really?
Yeah, this is from, I want to preserve the anonymity of the submitter.
The boys or fellas?
It's from Sabrina.
Okay.
I'm not going to give a last name.
No.
Okay, the same person that made this, obviously.
Hey, Crime Bears. When this happened, I was not that little anymore, maybe 13 years of age. 2 friends and me were strolling around and looking for stuff to do, so we walked through a tiny forest on our way to find something interesting. This area...
She's German. She lives in Germany, so seeing a tiny forest is normal for them.
Yeah, it's true.
This area...
She does live in
That's
Germany.
how Hansel and Gretel happened.
Yeah, she does.
This area also contained a little playground for children and some benches. Next to these benches
Made of candy?
were metal bins, or trash cans, as you may say in the U.S. Back in those days, it was always kind of cool to carry a lighter with you, and so one of my friends had one in her pocket. What do you do when you're a bored teenager with a lighter next to a bin? You set that shit on fire, of course.
Wow.
In our defense, Your Honor, when we held the lighter to a plastic bag in the bin, there was only a tiny flame. So when we left straight after, we thought the stuff would just melt and nothing would happen. We were only about 100 feet away when we stopped and asked ourselves if it was clever to set fire to a bin next to a wooden bench in a tiny forest, although the stuff was not really burning when we left. I suggested we go back and check, just in case. Well, glad that we did, because the bin was totally on fire when we arrived. Absolute panic in our eyes and brains. I even imagined how my dad would scream at me and would give me the bollocking of a lifetime. So with this fear in my neck, I ran to the playground, scooped massive amounts of sand in my hands, ran back to the bin and threw the sand on the fire.
Smart thinking.
Thankfully, I was able to put it out completely, My friends, by the way, did not do shit and were frozen in shock. Although nobody was harmed and no one saw us do it, we felt like badass criminals after this all. But we learned our lesson and did not try to set anything on fire again, Your Honor. Love you guys. Cheers and pyromaniac greetings. Is Sabrina guilty of a boy crime?
I say that's a boy crime.
That seems like a boy crime. It was unintentional. And unlike a felon, she ran back to try to rectify the situation.
Yeah.
That's a really good aspect of a boy crime.
Well, if it had a lid, maybe she would have put the lid on it. And then tried to...
You wanted to deprive it of oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think it's a boy crime.
I think
though,
that's a
clear.
boy crime for sure. Yeah. And of course, when you're in that situation and there's a group of friends, most of the friends just stand stunned, not knowing what to do.
Right.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's the scrappier person that steps up and is like,
I think so.
I can put this out.
Sabrina was the scrappier one in this
yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Scrappy sad.
Yeah, that's totally a boy crime though.
That's a
I
boy
think
crime.
so as well.
yeah.
I was going to say, I did remember something. I didn't end up doing this because I think it was too dangerous. But back, before Funbearable, a long time ago, my band used to film like jackass like type stunts. I've told you about the enema that I did. And we would plan
This enema comes up so many times.
And so we used to come up with ideas. And even though it seems like, oh, you just kick people in the balls or whatever, you do have to think of scenarios and ideas. And I had this idea that I never did because I was nervous that it might be really dangerous. And the idea...
this is the fire enema story.
Yeah, the fire enema, yeah. No, the idea was it was beer pong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of it, and I didn't exactly figure out the mechanics of this game, is that you had to wear a vest that was soaked in, I guess it was going to be lighter fluid. My original idea was gasoline, but then I found out that gasoline has fumes that go up. And I was like, all right, lighter fluid then. And you had flaming ping pong balls. And you had like fireproof gloves, flaming ping pong balls to do it. And so when it hits you, your whole body would go up in flames. And there would be like kiddie pools around that you can dive into. And at first I started figuring out how to play the game, what the rules would be, what would be in the cups. But then I'm like, I think this is way too dangerous. Like, I think someone's going to get really seriously hurt if we do this game.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I people are probably thinking, was Chuck like 16 to 18 when he was doing this? No, because I was the one who said, no, it's too dangerous. And I met Chuck when he was, 25, 26? And it
Yeah.
was like well into our friendship. Like this, it would not surprise me if Chuck was like 29 when he thought of this game
But it's,
and then was angry that I said I
was.
wouldn't do it.
well, I was thinking about the fireproof gel. You put that under it, and you're good.
So you would have to acquire fireproof gel like
I was
a
gonna say, where do you
stuntman.
get that?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you can
Go to
movie sets have it.
Chuck's in Walgreens going, where's your fireproof gel?
I came up with this awesome game. You might want to play.
Yeah. I need ping pong balls, some fireproof gel, and a
Kerosene.
lot of lighter fluid.
He's like, oh, they don't have fireproof gel. Aloe vera is probably the same.
The reason I knew about the gasoline not being good for it is because one time we filmed a sketch kind of thing where we went back to the future with my parents' van. This is when I was like 19, and we wanted to do the fire trails. And so I set up a camera. I went to the gas station. I got a thing of gasoline. I thought it would just light the gasoline, and we made the trails, the tire trails in the road, and we with the gasoline, and we started recording. And then I lit the actual trail. All the fumes went up. The thing went up, and fire like engulfed the camera and engulfed the gas can full of gasoline. And so it was like a split-second decision of like, should I go in and grab it? As I grab it, it might explode and I'm, hurt bad, or I might get it out of there and so it prevents it from exploding. But I made the decision to just run in and grab it like through the fire. And the gasoline can did not explode, and the camera was fine, and we got the shot. But after that, I was like, no more gasoline, because the fumes are so uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's like
Sure,
you
yeah.
control fluid, but like I didn't when we lit it, it was like in the air immediately, and I didn't know that that's how gasoline worked at all.
You should have soaked the air in fireproof gel.
Why did everyone here know that it would just like the fumes of gas would just go up in the air?
I am familiar with the idea of that, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen enough video compilations of people like fails and stuff where that
Yeah.
happens all the time. To
Yeah, people like lighting a bonfire or something like that, and
Yes,
it just
that's-
explodes.
yeah, they like just get real close and all of a sudden it's like boom.
yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, all right. So that's kind of what made me go, we'll do lighter fluid vests instead of gasoline vests for the
Still waiting
fireball
for my
game.
reimbursement for the lighter fluid vest. I did fire stuff in probably middle school.
You did fire
I
stuff?
did fire stuff. We would like go to the nearby park and light off fireworks. No big deal. We're
Yeah.
trying to shoot a bottle rocket up the twisty slide, but there was a plastic tube that kids would crawl through, and we got to the point
That's the perfect place to start a fire.
we would take like a matchbox car and put fireworks in that, and then it graduated to like a tiny like semi truck thing, and we're shoving paper towel soaked in lighter fluid into the back of this thing, and then putting fireworks, and we lit it, and it really caught on fire and melted into the plastic tube. And the park has been renovated since then, so there is no longer any evidence of this clear boy crime and not at all a felony. But we hightailed it out of there.
Yeah.
Unlike Sabrina, who went back
the
and saved the
scrappy
day.
one.
I will say, there never intentional setting of like I'm gonna set a fire. You know what I mean?
no.
Like that kind of thing.
No, it was definitely like
It always
Fire is fun,
accidental. We were shooting a film thing, my best friend and I, on a back road in Kittery, Maine, and we made. This was early days of internet, and I think it was like year 2000, 1999, and we made napalm. And we didn't think about this.
Nope.
You could take gasoline and put styrofoam in it, and it would melt the styrofoam, and then you would get like a slurry, a sticky, flammable substance, which is napalm.
Wow, I didn't know that at
And
all.
we were doing a thing in this video, and we needed that, and so we lit it, and it was on this completely barren dirt road, and it comically, as soon as we lit it, a huge pickup truck starts barreling down the road. And we're like, right? And we can't pick up the little canister because it's on fire at this point. And so the canister's there. No, you can't kick it. If you kick it, it's on fire. The whole thing is going to spray out, right?
Yeah.
So the truck goes by, and the guy must have aimed right for it and hit it with his tire. And it was just like a little, if you took a mushroom cloud and flattened it like a pancake, that's what came out of this thing. And it was just on fire. Thank God it was just a dirt road, and there was like it wasn't near like the woods or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that was on fire for a little
Tiny
while.
forest.
Yeah. Oh, it was a tiny forest afterwards.
Yeah. It was started as a big forest.
Yeah.
All right. Next email's from Daniel. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Thank you again. I have two circumstances that occurred to me that I wonder about. One day I went to the grocery store and I had a case of water under my buggy that I forgot to scan. When I paid for my groceries, I told the person behind the register that I forgot it. She winked at me and said not to worry about it. I don't feel guilty because it's a larger store and the person in power told me not to worry about it.
Yeah.
To chuck up the story, then we went to the bathroom and banged on the case of water. Her name was Helen, and she's a grandmother. 2,
Now.
I was using self-checkout at a different grocery store. I scanned everything, and when I packed my car, I realized I had forgotten to scan a carton of eggs. I feel bad about that, and next time I go into the store, I'll scan the carton of eggs twice. Does the position of power in the first one, allowing me to steal, make it better? I'd like to live my life with the saying, what would Brad do? Thanks again, Dan.
These are nothing.
I don't think they're boy crimes.
I don't even think they're boy crimes.
Yeah, I don't
They're
even
not
think
anything.
they rate as boy crimes.
No.
All right, so Dan is innocent. Is that?
Yeah, I would
That's
say
kind of what
But he's
Not
but he's
even-
also, but they're not.
They're not even.
I don't want to say they're like above boy crime. They're
Yeah.
below boy
Yeah.
crime.
I think
that's like case dismissed.
I think Dan and
Yeah.
I just have the same guilt organs in our body that's like, well, clearly I did something wrong.
Listen,
I need atonement.
I've said it before on this podcast. I'll say it again. The people that do some fuckery around the self-checkout,
Yeah.
you know, they steal through not scanning
Yeah.
things. I am like, good for you. Do it.
Yeah.
I am a chicken for it. Like I don't want to get caught doing it, so I won't do it. And in this kind of situation, if something's below the cart and it doesn't get scanned, do it. Do it. If you can get through the checkout and you don't pay for something, fine. Because
No one gives a shit.
well, it's like it's a case of water, big deal. It's
Yeah.
clearly a big box store if it's big enough. And if this is a mom and pop shop, don't steal, right?
Yeah, that's
But
my rule.
what if the mom or the pop is like, go ahead, take it.
Ooh.
That's
And-
different.
and
That's
take
not
it.
even stealing.
Yeah.
That's
No.
just
Yeah,
a
that's-
real
that's-
nice
yeah,
mom and pop.
that's
But
receiving a
that's
gift.
not stealing, but at the box store, it is stealing.
Yes.
Yes, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's why you don't steal from the mom and pop store, because they're generous and they're friendlies.
You're right to be a chick and not to like misscan stuff.
Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of cop cam videos. The
Okay.
number of people who think they're getting away with something at Walmart and get called into that office and they're like they're on you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation whose like their main focus is to sell shit and not get stolen from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're going to be on top of you like at every second when you're at that register, but people still think that they can get away with it. And I'm sure some people do.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
sure some
obviously
people do.
And that's why I'm like, if you leave a thing of water or I don't know what else would go under there, a big bag of dog food or something like that, if you leave that and it doesn't get scanned, good for you.
Yeah.
You fought the multi-billion-dollar corporation, and
It feels like a win.
yeah,
It feels like a win.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's what I've heard though, and I don't know if this is true. They say that people that work at Target, Walmart, whatever, when they see people that steal, they let them get away with it and they keep the tape and they try to if they come back and steal again, they keep the tape until it gets over the felony amount so
Yeah.
that they can hit them with a real
really?
serious
Ooh,
charge.
vicious. So you heard it here first on Funbearable. Spread it out. Spread it out.
Yeah,
go
to
on a
different
trip.
stores. Yeah,
Go on a
different
trip. Get your stealing buddy and be like, let's go to Idaho this weekend.
So I'll tell you.
We're gonna hit all the Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. All the Targets on the way. So a funny thing happened. I haven't told Ray about this. Brian doesn't know about this. So I went to Chicago last week with my girlfriend Natalie to meet her family for the first time, and we got to the hotel and we looked in the
You
bathroom.
want to play a game? You got any ping pong balls?
Put on this vest.
Hey, how many you go to the front desk? Hey, fireproof gel.
Of course, sir. It's complimentary.
So we go to the room. And I look we actually went to the hot tub, then we went to the room. We went to go take a shower. And
It's
I noticed,
insane that we're having a regular podcast conversation in these wigs.
but
You go to the shower, right?
and the shower curtain's missing. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Maybe they took it out. They forgot to replace it. Okay. Call the front desk. The guy's like, oh, that's really weird. I thought he would be like, oh yeah, I forgot to put that,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, okay, he brings it back in. No big deal. We look in a drawer and there's all these different things. There's candy, there's chips, there's an airplane ticket from Mexico to Chicago, and there's a bunch of pills.
Nice.
Right? So I was like, I took a picture of the drawer and then I was like, oh, Natalie, like pretend I'm trying to take these pills and you're trying to stop me. And so I was trying to take the pills and she's trying to stop me. And I put up a picture online that's like, positive when you find pills in your hotel room, negative when your girlfriend won't let you take them. Whatever. Just a dumb joke.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm go to sleep. I like to sleep in. And the next day I wake up at 10:30 and Natalie is like barreling into the room being like, are you getting these messages? Are you getting these messages? Are you seeing this? And I'm like, no, I'm like, what? What's going on? I look at my messages. Tom Milishevsky, who works for Tell Him Steve Dave as well, our buddy, he looked at the picture that I posted, looked up the name on the plane ticket, Googled it in Chicago, and it was a missing person.
Really?
Now do some math backwards when we got to the hotel room.
Shower curtain.
Shower curtain is gone. Right?
oh God.
So he's texting the group chat. It's me, get him, Brad, Jimmy the hair guy, and he's like,
and Rupert, yeah.
and Rupert, and we're all flipping out. Brad has talked to Natalie. Natalie's like, "What are we gonna do? We gotta call the police." And I'm laying there in bed, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm looking at all the messages and seeing the screenshots of this. My son is missing, all this stuff like that. And I'm thinking about the idea of us calling the police, and I was like, we could call the police, but we got a lot of stuff planned today. And I don't know how much this is going to interfere. And she's like, are you fucking crazy? And she was like mad.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, let me do, I was like, all right, we'll call the police. And we're kind of, as we're looking at like the plane ticket and looking at the date of the post, and I'm looking up the number for the police, Brad, are you the person that did more research? Or
No, I think
was it Rupert?
I think Natalie and I got the picture from Natalie,
So
and I sent the
someone-
picture to Natalie.
Someone looked up the woman who posted that it was a missing person.
The mom, yeah.
It was the mom of the guy. And later that day, because it was a post on Facebook, the son was found okay, and he was
Okay.
home. So everything ended up fine.
He was just missing some pills and candy.
He was missing pills and candy, and the shower curtain made it a little bit more like,
sure,
what the fuck is happening
Right.
here?
It's like if you see a missing shower curtain in a hotel room. Yeah, there's one answer.
Well,
it
it-
seems.
Especially when the hotel's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like Tom messaged the group, and we're all, Rupert's like, that guy's iced for sure. And I was like, they should.
Iced for sure.
What he said. I said, basically, like, they should call the police, but I know Chuck is asleep. And like, I mean, my heart of hearts is like, I should call the police. I'm like, no, like, Natalie's probably awake and in the gym. Let me text Chuck and Natalie. Chuck, if you're awake, please read those texts. Natalie, if you're awake, just give me a call. And, so I talked with her. I laid out the situation, and I was like, look, wait until Chuck wakes up to call the police. I know every minute counts, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing. But meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this guy's iced for sure.
Iced for sure.
Is it a sign of a little bit of sociopathy that Chuck would say, like, but I got all this stuff planned.
Yeah,
For sure.
I don't care about this missing person, because I feel like I'd be the same way.
Yes, and it's like, and you're weighing it. You're thinking about it, and you're like, let's do a little bit more research, which we did, and we
I
found
was
out
going to get that pizza.
it was a hot dog.
Everybody's
It was a Chicago dog.
I mean, for a Chicago dog, I'll overlook a murder.
Yes, that's
But for their
exactly how I
pizza, no.
felt. That's how I felt. But
Yeah.
and it's funny because it was a bunch of pills, and someone commented in the group chat. They were like, "Those look like life-saving pills," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! What do you mean by that?"
Did you Google them? Did you look them up?
I don't know how to look them
I
up.
think Tom looked them up, and I think the pink ones were Oxy. Is what he
Damn.
said.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They were pretty big. I don't. Tom doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
No, Tom's a cool drug taker. Get the fuck out
Tom,
of here.
Yeah,
What does he know?
Exactly. I was like, Tom doesn't know what he's talking about. But so that was all done, and then there was this bag of M&Ms that was like so beat to shit, and I'm like, do you think I should eat these M&Ms? And Natalie's like, no way. And I'm
Loose
like,
pills and a bag of M&Ms, and you're like, that's probably just
What a
candy.
find.
and I'm squeezing it, and I could tell the air is not like airtight anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I won't eat them. So then she goes to sleep. And then I'm like, here we go. I open the bag. They're all white. They're all fucking white. And I'm like, and I didn't do it. I was like, I'm not gonna risk it.
I love the idea that it was essentially just a big bag of Percocet, and you're like, yeah, that's M&Ms. That's old M&Ms. We all know that's old
I
M&Ms.
think it was M&M's.
Yeah.
Yeah. These M&Ms taste like tart. They're very tart,
It's
bitter.
so chalky.
But you know what? I feel I can't stop eating them.
Yeah.
See,
And this
old-
liquid smells and tastes like almonds.
Yes.
Old me, had I found a bag of Oxy, I would have been like, this is heaven. This is the best day of my life. Now there's so much fentanyl and everything, I would just be like, I guess I'm just going to turn it in.
I know.
You can't risk it anymore.
They have kits and stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you can go to the drugstore and get a kit that tests it for fentanyl.
Yeah, that's like
That's a tough thing to go in and be like, excuse me, can you point me towards
I'm
your
a scumbag.
fentanyl testing kits? No. I found a bag of drugs. Is what I would like to check.
I just want to test if they're M&Ms or fentanyl.
Yeah.
And also, do you sell M&Ms in case this test is...
That was what I was gonna say. Like you're like, ooh, the M&Ms. I'm like, you're at a hotel, just like vending machine, the lobby, whatever. It's M&Ms. It's not hard to find.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
is it share size?
Yeah.
You got to then. You got to at least open the bag.
And
Excuse me, it's to share.
and of course, Natalie fucking brought basically trail mix minus M&Ms. So I'm like, well, what are we talking about here? This is a perfect situation. You know what I mean?
Mix them together.
Yeah, that's what I was
Throw
going
the perks in there.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Did you
of
know
fun.
she was such a health nut when you guys got together?
So I met my girlfriend Natalie on the cruise, and Brian and I met her basically like at the same time at the Tell 'em Steve Dave meetup. And when we talked on the cruise, we didn't really talk until the last day. I thought she was like super cute, and I was like, man, I like this girl. But as you know, I had a couple exes on the cruise.
Yeah.
And I had a no banging different people pact with one of them going into the cruise. And by the end of the cruise, that person had ruined that pact. Not because she banged someone and other stuff. And fast forward to final night of the cruise, I finally talked to her for the first time. Because before that, it was very like, oh, hey, what's up? Good to see you again. Oh, hey, what's up? You're going to the show. That's it. And we did talk on the cruise, and she thinks I misled her about how healthy I am.
Oh, really?
Well, I told her. I'm
She
like,
couldn't tell just looking at you?
I told her, I'm like,
I mean, he's sweating right now. He must have just worked out. He's out of breath.
There's 3 stairs leading to that level.
He's looking for a chair. He must have just done a lot of heavy lifting.
well, I asked her what she was into, and she said hiking. And I said, me too. But my version of hiking is going into the woods and walking for a while.
A tiny forest.
Her version of hiking is like fucking hiking. Like we went in the Rocky
in the
Mountains.
hiking magazines.
Dude, we went in the Rocky Mountains and we started, I think, at 8,500 feet elevation, and we went up 1,000 feet. And we hiked up 1,000 feet, and I was like, I was fucking done. Not only like my calves were doing that thing where you can see them spasming, they were doing that, but also like you're stepping on rocks the entire time. It's all pointy rocks. So like my sneakers were like, it felt like I was wearing paper moccasins. You know what I mean? You needed hiking boots just to protect your feet from the rocks. So my feet were killing me. My calves were killing me. My ankles were killing me. And like also I'm dealing with the elevation as I'm doing it. So it fucking took it.
Look like a real champ.
Oh my, it was so embarrassing. And like, it sucks because we got to the top of where we wanted to go. And there's so many people there, like all these obviously other people that are just like, I'm doing this all the time, I'm fine. And Natalie's like, you did it, good job. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I was
Like
so,
your special needs
it
or
was
something.
So humiliating. It was so
I wouldn't want to go hiking like on an early relationship kind of situation. Like I like hiking, I'll do it with my wife.
Her hiking.
No. I mean, I've done unpleasant hiking and I've done fun hiking and all that stuff.
Yes.
But especially the unpleasant ones, where I like, no, I'll do that with like my wife or somebody that I've been friends with for a long time or something like that. But like, I don't look great when this is happening. I look like shit. I sound like shit. Like, but I'm having fun and doing the thing.
Yeah.
But like, that's not, you know what I mean? That's a lights off kind of feeling.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah,
1,000 feet, like with no elevation, you'd be like, it's nothing. 1,000 feet with that elevation is just like, it's so
It's a
a
monster.
fifth of a mile. It's almost nothing.
We did this Shining hotel like tour, and during that, which is really just like walking around looking at this room, they're like, okay, we're really, really high up, which was where we started the hike from too. They're like, we're really high up, so if we're walking around and you start feeling faint or you're going to throw up, please let us know. It happens constantly. Don't feel weird about it, because if you do faint, we are legally required to call the ambulance. And I'm like, that's what they're doing when people are gingerly walking around, not hiking up 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know, but I feel like I was actually thinking about this. I was talking to Brad about this recently. So she is more like, let's go kayaking. Let's do. She's like, oh, you don't have to be at the airport for 2 hours. Let's go kayaking. Like she's like that. And you know, it's a lot sometimes. But I was telling Brad, I'm like, when you're with someone, you're not going to be with the person who's exactly like you. And so if she's different than me in ways that are healthy, and that's what she's pulling me into, that's probably positive overall, as opposed to the differences being something where she's like shitty about something or worse. You know what I mean? If the differences are like, she likes to exercise more than I do, or she likes to do stuff that's healthy more than I do, that's probably a good thing to have as your partner.
I will say, though, she is a Chicago Bears fan. Do not let her pull you into that.
Oh, no.
That is
Fuck
unhealthy.
You could be in a relationship where you find those pills in the drawer, and then like you go to the bathroom and you come out and you're like, I think maybe we should do, and she's just got all pills in her mouth, and she's like, huh?
Exactly.
All right, what's the next?
Next boy crime?
The next defendant.
This is from Nathan.
Yeah.
I was around 11 years old, and my family and I were at the campground we stayed at on the weekends, and I was cruising around on my bicycle when I spotted a lone golf cart.
All right.
Golf carts are made for
11,
boy
you
crimes.
said?
I love it.
11?
11.
Already I want to just be like, we're good. Everything's fine. But let's see.
I decided to check it out. Lo and behold, the keys were left in it.
Oh,
I took the
dreams come
cart
true.
for a joyride around the campground, only to later find out it belonged to the owner of the campground.
Makes sense.
It was the most fun thing I've ever done, and I regret nothing to this day.
And you have nothing to regret. That's absolutely.
I think innocent of boy crimery.
I don't even think he was a boy crime.
Innocent of, I
That's
think
entrapment.
Yes.
The keys left in it?
I know. Yeah, around 11-year-olds.
It's a bait car situation.
Yeah, I'm looking around like, nice try, but then I still take it.
Yeah.
The last time I went camping with my family, I don't know if this is a boy crime, but my friend and I rolled up Lipton tea into joints and sold it to people like within the campground, which was the stupidest thing.
That's
because
a bad idea
They just
within the
came
camp.
after us. They literally like a bunch of teenagers. We were probably like 13 or something. And the teenagers, when like you're 13 and like the other teenager's 17, that seems like an adult to you.
Yeah.
So when you have like 5 or 6 guys like chasing you through the woods trying to get you because you sold them fake shit, I remember just fucking making it to the campground with my father there and being like, "Save me!"
What happened?
He never asked why they were chasing us. They just took off because I guess a real adult was there, not a kid. And plus they were buying weed, so like how good does that look for them? Yeah, but they left us alone, and we did not go out from that campsite for the rest of the fucking time we were there because we're like, we're gonna get killed.
That's so funny.
That's a boy crime.
Yeah,
That's a fun boy crime for sure. Yeah.
So when you decided to do it, where you're like, oh, we'll make some money, you didn't think about the fact that they're just gonna be here?
No, it didn't occur to us. There's the same kid who like a year before was lighting a rooming house on fire. So like my head wasn't straight. When
I was in kindergarten or first grade, I don't know why I fucking did this. There's something wrong with me. On my homework, I just drew a dick and an ass. I have no idea why. I don't know why. And plus, like, you got to think, if I'm like in kindergarten, first grade, I'm drawing a very tiny dick. Like, what kind of dick am I drawing? You know what I mean?
Back then?
So I drew this dick and I drew an ass. My teacher sees the drawings, calls my parents, sends me home with them, and tells my parents exactly what happened and that they have to talk to me. So my parents sit me down to talk to me about this dick and this ass that I drew. And I was so stupid and so young that I was like, I didn't finish them. And I drew the dick into a lamb, and I drew the ass into the Olympic rings. I was like, they stopped me in the middle of my drawings.
I started 2 separate doodles. I like to double dude. That is so funny.
I remember my parents just laughing, and like I don't remember the outcome of that, but I remember like it was so thin and so obvious, I almost like part of me now wishes I was doing it on purpose to be funny, but there's no way I was doing that at like 6 or whatever.
No, I don't think you're bidding your way out of a situation like that.
No, I don't think so.
To the golf cart.
Yep.
Thinking back, like I think early childhood all the way to teen years, fucking put it into college. Now, a golf cart is always like a draw to me. Like it just seems super fun. And when you're a kid, the idea of like,
especially before you get your license.
So it's a fun-sized car that I can drive
while you're drunk.
Sure, yeah,
yeah, exactly.
It's the best. I always got so excited whenever there was like a golf cart in any way that I could possibly be a part of. Yeah. I would always get pumped for it. As a kid, that's the dream. Being 11 at a campground and there's a golf cart with the key in it.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how fast I could have gotten away from those guys if I had a golf cart?
Yeah, exactly.
You could have started your own business.
Yeah, right. See you later, boys.
You just get like a signal
going
and then
6 miles an hour.
You hear the little engine rolling up to somebody. Oh yeah, I love a golf cart.
I never got to steal a golf cart. I always wanted to steal a golf cart.
I never stole a golf cart, but there was a country club where I lived, and we would hang out there at night, late at night sometimes. Just your teens, what are you doing? And that's where they would lock up all the golf carts.
Yes.
And there were so many times where we were just investigating the golf carts. Is there any way we can start this? Is there anything we can do here? We didn't want to like break them or anything like that. But man, I wanted to. And then a couple of times friends wanted to play golf, and I was just like, I'll go if we get a golf cart and I can drive it. Like, I don't care. We did break a couple of them, but that was fine and fun. Best experience? No.
Okay.
Literally just driving around like assholes. When I was in college, towards the tail end, I was living in an apartment with my then girlfriend, now wife, Kalina. One of my closest friends took over. He started working security at the school over the summer between school years, right? So middle of the night, I would go and hang out with him. I'm a night owl. I would go. He would pull the overnight shift, and there's nobody at the school, and so it would just be me and my friend Colby. And I would hang out with them until like dawn. You know what I mean? Then go to my apartment and go to sleep. They had a golf cart that was a security golf cart for the school.
Love it.
With no limiter on it. So this thing flew.
Yep.
Wow.
And it like the beginning of the summer, it was like, oh, I'll come with you on your rounds while you go to check things. And I'm with him. I'm like, this is fun, you know? And by the end of the summer, like he's back at the office. I'm flying around the school on this thing.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. So much fun.
I don't think I've ever driven a golf cart.
Really?
It's delightful.
I did a lot. I golfed, middle school, high school, off and on. But it was, like our
all your retiree friends.
My friend's sister had her license. She would have to rent the cart in her name, but then she'd leave and we'd drive around and, tip one over every once in a while just because we
taking
don't know
turns.
What we're doing. Yeah, we're driving too fast. We're on the slope already, whatever. But stealing one scares me.
You ever get a golf cart? You ever drive one?
Yeah, my house, when I bought my house, it came with a golf cart.
Oh, that's right. Do you still have it?
No, I sold it to my brother.
I was going to say, why are we recording here and not there?
Yeah.
Do you need one for your house?
No, I mean, you know what? It could be helpful because there's a lot of land. So if I'm picking up sticks and shit like that, it's pretty helpful. But it's even more helpful if you just let the landscapers do it. So I got rid of the golf cart. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's great.
When I first started, it's like I was like, why isn't this starting? Why isn't this starting? Because the batteries needed water. They have 6 batteries in them.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah.
There's all kinds of purified water.
Oh, take that, Elon Musk.
So there's no gasoline in a golf cart?
You can get a gas powered one.
There's some gas powered.
Yeah, this is electric for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like the security one was gas powered.
Yeah,
that was definitely gas powered.
I also think, remember when the first Jackass movie came out? There was so much golf cart stuff in the trailer and in the movie that I think kids got super psyched up.
Yeah, I love a golf cart. It's like an adult go-kart. It's so fun.
I always dreamed about taking a go-kart or a bumper car on the road. I always dreamed about that.
I'm a guy. I'm a big 6'7", morbidly obese man. You give me a little fun car, I'm gonna have a fun time.
Your love of
people are gonna have fun watching you.
I love mopeds. I love riding a moped. It's so fun.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm very aware of what I look like. I'm very aware that if somebody sees me on a moped, which it's been years since I've been on a moped, I'm very aware somebody would be like, "Where's your brother?" Right? Like the fat twins. You know what I mean? All of that, I'm sure. But I love it.
You do dress up just like them, so that's why.
Yeah. Well, and I do have a paper mache double.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say this was Nate or Nathan.
Yes. Or Daniel.
Nathan, I'm honestly, you're so okay. That is a boy crime 100%.
And it's even in trouble. I don't even know if it is a boy crime.
He'd be disappointed if he didn't take it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Even if I was his dad, I'd be like,
I know.
Why didn't you tell me? We could have both went.
Just go around. I'll distract them.
Yeah.
Right?
Aiding and abetting boy crime.
But yeah, Nate, Nate, you're doing great.
All right, this one is from Eric. My friend and I used to do when we were in middle school that I think would apply as a boy crime. My friend's parents were very strict. They wouldn't allow him to listen to certain music or watch movies with a lot of cursing or nudity. They went through
the best ones.
They went through his room to check he wasn't hiding things from them. I remember they threw out his Nirvana Nevermind album when his dad heard something he didn't like in a song. So having dirty magazines, cigarettes, anything like that was hard for him to get and keep. I remember thinking of different ways to smuggle items to him. One way was opening a CD case, removing the plastic part that held the CD, putting a folded nudie magazine page, putting a blank piece of paper over that, and then clamping the plastic part that held the CD back in place.
I was going to say, what is this, Alcatraz?
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I would loan him a few CDs, and his parents could look inside and see nothing but the CD. Another thing was I would take...
little Tim loves those gospel CDs so much.
I would take markers, pull out the ink part and clean it out, and put a cigarette in there. The tip was still on the end of the marker, so it would still function for a bit. I would wad up a bit of paper on the inside
cigarette.
So the ink wouldn't get in the cigarette. We also passed notes like this in class, and it looked like you were just letting someone borrow your pen if you got caught. Let me know if I'm guilty or innocent. Still not sure how it works.
I also slipped them packets of ramen.
One time, the highlighter that had the cigarette in it was empty, and someone fucked him in the ass. So insane. The lengths of this are wild. It's like Rikers Island.
Like borrow 5 CDs, and then it's like you get 5 individual pages.
That's
incredible.
I mean, these are perfect boy crimes, I think.
Yeah.
This is like exactly what a boy crime is.
Yeah.
The idea of the ingenuity of someone with their, their tongue out and they're taking the CD apart and they're putting the thing in. That's a perfect boy crime.
I just picture like the friend playing harmonica on his bunk bed, waiting for the next little thing to be slipped.
Yeah, like the desperation of the friend to get anything, to get any kind of contraband in his house. It's like,
You know what's funny too? When he said my friend's parents wouldn't let him watch a movie with cursing or nudity and would go through his room to find stuff, I'm like, you created this kid.
Oh,
you created this desperate kid who's getting past nudie magazines and individual cigarettes. Lucy's, that's what they're called,
Lucy's,
right?
That's amazing. That is the idea of going through that trouble with that marker for one single cigarette.
Yeah.
It is such a childlike thing of like, I've got a cigarette.
Yep.
I have a cigarette.
Do you want to go out in the little forest and smoke it?
I remember when I was I am unfortunately a smoker. Do you smoke at all?
I don't.
No, okay. And these two don't. But yeah, so I'm the odd man out in this. But when I was a kid, there was another kid who he smoked, and it was weird because I think this was like 6th or 7th grade, and
was it a Filipino or something?
Come to think of it, no.
My mom smoked cigarettes, and you know my mom. I know you don't. When she was in 3rd grade, when she was 8 years old.
3rd grade.
Times are different, man. Times are different. Yeah.
I think it was normal. I mean, not normal exactly for
Her
someone who's
doctor
8.
told her to do it.
Yeah, but I think she smoked until she got pregnant with me.
Yeah. And then in a little bit
after.
Yeah. As soon as you came out, she's like, oh, fine. I'm done.
She's ashing in the soft spot.
Yeah. What a beautiful baby. Yeah. Wow. That's
severed the cord with the cigarettes.
Slowly. That's funny.
The baby starts crying. She's like, oh, he's fiending. He's fiending for a cigarette. I got to hotbox this boy. No, this kid, I remember being like, I was boy crimes. This kid was like just regular crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
he was a young
felonies.
criminal in the making. And we used to go to the drugstore on the way to school, Osco Drug.
Yeah.
And like I would occasionally take a 50-cent bag of candy, you know, the store brand cellophane bags of like knockoff versions.
Yep.
Then they were 50 cents. And I would like take one of those. He was straight up distracting the cashier and grabbing packs of cigarettes that are on the thing behind the cashier.
Wow.
It was
That's
crazy.
bold, man.
And I remember having one pack of Marlboro Reds. I don't even smoke Marlboros, but Marlboro Reds that he had given me. And I had that pack for like a year. It was hidden in my room. And it was like, I think 5 of them had been smoked over that year. But I was like, yeah, I have cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right. And then my mom found them and it was a whole to-do.
Yep.
This is making me wonder about like stuff that I hid when I was a kid. Like I'm trying to think if I hid anything
Those bodies?
from my parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I hid anything from
So many missing shower curtains in the state and household.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I hid. I'm trying to think of what I might have hid. I remember when we were teenagers, my buddy Jordan, his mom, I don't remember exactly what she did. I don't know if she was doing like maid service, but she used to do like cleaning up at like a porn store. And
oh man,
Cleaning up.
That feels like not a job,
Wow.
but a sentencing,
Yeah.
right? You have to clean up at the porn store.
and I don't know if she stole them or what the deal was.
Earn to them,
But they
whatever
had
it is.
a ton of porn DVDs at Jordan's mom's house,
Mm-hmm.
and so he would sneak them out. And we had CD burners, so we could like rip the DVD and make a copy of it. But this is in like 2000, so it would take like days and days and days. And we'd have to like, you know, keep the computer, be like, oh no, I'm downloading something. Don't go over there. Don't look at it.
This is like a porn copying heist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
but in like
getting
old
it.
times.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
What's going on over there? Nothing's happening. He's playing snood.
Yeah, give me 72 hours.
Yeah.
That's literally what I needed.
Like growing up, I didn't have any friends who had parents that had like weird jobs or anything like that. Like if we had a friend who was like, oh yeah, she works in a porn store, it would be mind blowing.
Oh, it was
Everybody was just all our moms were like housewives or nurse or something.
for sure.
It's the 70s.
Saving lives and helping people.
Yeah, I know.
I had a friend when I was in 7th grade, and I was so mad. I wasn't even attracted to her, but I was so mad because people had gone to his house at one point in time and they found printed naked pictures of the kid's mom that she had hidden in her house.
This is the second time he's gone into
That's
this.
true.
And I was like, my mind was blown. I don't even know if I'd seen any sort of porn at that point in time because I'm in 7th grade. If I'm 12, that's 1996. So like I didn't have internet stuff. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they had seen these naked pictures of his mom, I was like, oh my God, I was so enveloped in jealousy that I remember we went to his house and I was like, man, I really want to see those pictures. It's this kid's mom. He probably doesn't want to see him that bad. And so there was a few of us there, and someone's like, "Remember when we found those pictures of your mom?" I was like, "Yeah, where were they?" Like I was like really trying to be like, "Yeah, that's crazy. We got to see these again. This is nuts." But it was truly just me being an insane pervert. And
I want to see them.
Yeah, I was like fiending for sure, and I never got to see him.
This kid's fiending.
He's fiend. He was the type of parents that like they had a hot tub in their bedroom and stuff like that.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
His dad owned a limousine service, as I recall.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was
the 80s were really good to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And my parents that was the kid I wasn't supposed to hang out with. You know, there's like
kid.
Yeah, when you're growing up,
because all of your other friends, you were the kid that they weren't supposed to hang out with.
Yeah. It's lambs and Olympic rings.
I will say this was Daniel.
This is Eric.
Eric, I'm sorry. Eric, I think this is a boy crime.
Yeah.
You know, you're more an accomplice than
it's a
anything.
well executed boy crime.
Yes,
So-
the wherewithal, right? The stick-to-itiveness to go through this process,
Yes,
and hollow shit out like it's a prisoner of Azkaban.
yeah, right. Those were
That's
the only
Magic's Alcatraz.
Yes, those were the only like printed photos that I knew of, even of people that I knew that were like naked or sexual. I've never came across that otherwise in my life ever.
My first time seeing something like that was we had a friend in school who he was older than us, and he was dating a girl who was in our grade who was like very loose.
Oh
you know, for the times, and it was probably like 1983, 84, somewhere in there. And I remember he was like, "Come here, I want to show you something." And he had like this grainy, poorly exposed Polaroid of his girlfriend naked, and he showed it to us. And I remember thinking, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yes!
The quality didn't matter. I could see her face and I could see her boobs, and I was like, "This is awesome. This is so much better than any porn magazine I've ever seen." Because you know her.
It's boobs,
Yeah,
boobs,
but now you probably get in trouble for something like that. Like if I'm like, "Hey, check out this picture of my girl," you know, you can get busted. You get revenge porn or something.
That actually unlocked a memory that I totally forgot about. So we used to do this thing once in a while when we were in high school. Like it wasn't enough for us to moon people. We did a thing called the fruit bowl, which is where you pull your pants down, you bend over, and you push your dick and your balls backwards. So it's your ass, and then your dick and your balls are sticking out. So that, you know, if you turn the picture, it looks like it's a fruit bowl, you know? And my buddy had a Polaroid. And so me and my cousin Christian both were like, all right, take a picture of us doing the fruit bowls. Picture of us doing this fruit bowl, two next to each other. And we put it in his visor. And his mom, a picture of two like 15-year-old boys pushing their balls and dicks.
Well, to be fair, the picture showed a 15-year-old boy and an 11-year-old
boy. Christian's older than me.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You can tell in the picture.
I thought 4 years. Yeah.
No, but she found him and she was pretty turned off.
Yeah, well, so she claims.
Mrs. Stevenson, you didn't let us finish. What is the Olympic rings?
Yeah, we were trying to do the Olympic
It's charades.
I would have thought too, if I'm the mom who finds it in the visor, I'd be like, "Oh no, what is my son up to?" Like this seems awfully gay.
Way worse than that. Why are they documenting this?
Yeah.
This was into the time though we were doing the Jackass stuff already. We were filming that kind of stuff, like starting in high school. So I think that she was like, they're just being stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that she wrote it off to that. It was Mrs. Perella, who we all know is my friend Lou's mom, and she's a little kooky. Really funny. She's very fun and lively, so she can roll. All right, she can roll with it.
Yeah.
I think it's a boy crime 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
in the best way.
You're innocent if not over prepared.
Wait, guilty of a boy crime. Why? We always argue about this.
I know.
He's guilty of boy crime.
We'll just say, let's get innocent and guilty off of the plate here.
Boy crime.
Boy crime.
Or felony.
And too much preparation.
Yes. And I like the preparation. That's what makes it interesting.
I know. It's so funny because it makes it so much more innocent how seriously he was taking it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so too.
I'd like to know the kid who was being smuggled to.
Yes.
I'd like to know how did he grow up the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Did he become like a weird perv?
I bet.
Was he like repressed or whatever? Yeah. It was Brad.
It was Brad.
Well, I wonder, did he pay him back in some way too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know
Yeah, that's because that's a big deal.
Smuggling him portions of the Bible in CDs going back out. That's just a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, exactly. Dixie sticks.
The next email is from Wesley. He did a great job describing it. A lot of words. I'm going to try and summarize it when I can. The Friday after Thanksgiving in 1996, my local mall hosted a promotion to encourage shoppers to come to the mall early and spend money throughout the day. There was an ad in the local paper advertising something to the effect of spend $10, get $10. The fine print, there would be a table in the center of the mall with 100 gift certificates for $10 each. The first 100 people to show them a $10 receipt from a purchase that day in the mall would get a $10 gift certificate that could be used anywhere in the mall. Our family made the drive to the mall, arrived just minutes after the mall opened. We decided to split up, then meet near the food court a few hours later so we could go home. As a 13-year-old boy, I really loved shopping for video games, toys, music, and food. I brought a backpack with me to that mall to carry anything I bought. I was also wearing a jacket, a sweater, a hat, and my glasses. I had $25 to spend. I bought a CD or something, went to the mall center, showed the staff at the table my receipt, and got the serial numbered gift certificate. The number was something low, like 4. They marked my receipt with a highlighter, handed it back to me. I took that $10 gift certificate, went to the next store on my list. I don't recall what I bought, but the price was right. I had a fresh $10 receipt in hand. I wondered if I could get a second gift certificate, took off my jacket, stuffed it into my backpack, went back to that mall center, stood in the small line that had formed, was at the front of the line. The same staff members looked at my new receipt, gave the overconfident boy a little bit of a curious stare, not unlike Tim Curry and Rob Schneider's characters in Home Alone 2, gave me another gift certificate. Number 11.
Whoa.
Essentially, he then changed again with a third gift certificate, changed again, a fourth gift certificate, went to a fifth store. All total, 10 $10 gift certificates in less than 2 hours.
10 of them.
Wow.
I changed my appearance.
Oh, boy.
Changed my appearance every time, making sure not to wear the same combination of hat, sweater, jacket, glasses twice so the mall staff wouldn't recognize me. As for my purchases, I purchased 10 things for myself and in the rush of the whole ordeal, forgot to do any Christmas shopping for my family. The only purchase I remember to this day is my massive $10 double order of pretzel bites, a soda, and extra dipping sauces at the Hot Sam. My typical single order would not have qualified, so I had to go big. My mom got suspicious. She knew I didn't have a lot of money and the math just wasn't adding up for her. I explained the whole thing to my family about how I got the gift cards, altered my appearance, went on a low budget. That's great.
Yep.
My mother said they probably wanted people to only redeem one coupon. My father confessed that after using his gift certificate, he had bought a Leanne Rimes cassette tape and used the receipt from the cassette tape to claim a second.
Leanne Rimes.
Fast forward 1 year.
Crimes.
He passes the kid the Leanne Rimes tape. He's like, look under the jewel case.
Fast forward 1 year, I was checking the paper religiously. Surely they were going to run a similar promotion. I was excited one day to open the paper and see that the spend 10, get 10 promotion was going to be happening again until I saw the addition to the fine print that hadn't been in the ad the previous year, limit 1 per customer. Our family went to the mall but didn't participate in the promotion. I only claimed 1 gift certificate. I feel no guilt for what I did on Black Friday 1996. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yep.
While my actions clearly went against the spirit of the promotion, it was not expressly forbidden in 96, and more importantly, nobody tried to stop me. I throw myself at the mercy of the boy court to be judged as you see fit. All the best from Ohio, Wesley.
That's a great boy crime.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that's a great
I love
He just
that boy
exploited a loophole. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
it.
so
That's all he
too.
did, yeah.
I think he exploited a loophole.
As I
Classic
was,
Your Honor situation.
as I was preparing for this episode, I'm like, man, you know who would love this? Walt Flanagan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He loves a loophole.
Yeah, in my mind, Walt's passing out disguises to everyone to just take advantage.
Yeah, like
of this.
Giddums like in 5 different outfits. Sunday Jeff in 5 different outfits.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. No, that's a great one. That's a great loophole.
Yeah.
I have a great Black Friday story that is definitely a felony and not a boy crime. I think you guys know it, and I really wish I could find the articles to support it, but I know that it happened because I was there. I used to work at Movie Stop, which was a movie store, like it's just like GameStop. And right next to us, there was a Cold Stone Creamery. And one summer, there was a heat wave in August, and all the ice cream melted. Like everything.
Yeah, they lost power for an extended length of time. The slab lost coldness.
Yeah,
everything went wrong for these.
So the heat turned off the power, and the heat melted the ice cream. And it was such a loss that Cold Stone didn't renew the lease. It was like getting to the end of it, and they closed. So it was an empty storefront. And so it was Movie Stop, and then I think GameStop, and then Cold Stone. So Black Friday's coming, and this is a big shopping plaza with like a Target and this Best Buy right next to it, right next to the Cold Stone. And every Black Friday, tons of people line up. There's all these barricades in front, tons of police officers. There's like a million cars. We would go in at like 4 a.m. And when the GameStop, which was between the Movie Stop and the Cold Stone, the guy who I knew, his name was Ray. He was the manager.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't him. He opened the door. He went into the back room, and someone on Black Friday knew that Cold Stone was closed, broke into the back, drilled through the wall into the GameStop. And because it was Black Friday, they had all these consoles, like new Xboxes and PS3s, and they stole $250,000 of consoles from that GameStop in one shot on Black Friday with 1 million police in front of the store.
Wow.
And I was like, what the and the reason I know this is because he was a heavy smoker. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that before this part. He had already had 2 heart attacks. And when he saw this, he had a heart attack. Ray had a 3rd heart attack.
I don't say it like that.
the smoker, Ray.
I don't
say it like that either.
I don't even talk about smoking. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but, I can't keep it quiet.
Yes, but so
shut your fucking mouth.
So he literally he had a heart attack, and $250,000 of consoles stolen.
Who did it? EB Games.
yeah, EB himself. But like, it's crazy. In my head, I mean, obviously that's way more than a boy crime. That's like that's a for sure felony.
Well, no, that's just
crime.
Straight up crime.
That's jail time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the boldness is insane. And then I was thinking, how is he going to get rid of those? What is he going to do with all those? I mean, I'm sure it was more than one person. It's probably a few people. But what can they do? They all have serial numbers. Everything is so traced and trackable.
I don't know about back then.
What year was it? Yeah.
Probably. When was the last time I worked at Movie Stop? 2010, 11? It was probably maybe 2009, 2008. I
wonder if they tracked it on eBay as carefully as they do now.
Yeah, probably, definitely not as carefully for sure. So maybe they did pull it off. Maybe they went to fucking, they could
have went to an auction, a flea market or something.
They could go to, they can go to what's it called, like thrift stores and stuff, and just sell them for whatever because you have so many of them that it's
or just like Craigslist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Like how long did it take to get them out of there? How did they get them by everybody? Because you think other people would be like, oh my God, where'd you get them?
Of course. I mean, also, they transported them. So what did they have, like 4 passenger vans?
Right.
It was a crazy, crazy time. And like, we found out that morning, like while we were working and dealing with all the customers. And it was like, it's funny because I knew a guy. So right after that, I started working at GameStop. I went over to GameStop, a different one. And the assistant manager was friends with that guy, Ray, who had the heart attacks. And I was like, I'm like, did he tell you about the heist? And he's like, yeah, he told me all about the heist. And I'm like, wow. He's like, he had a heart attack. And I go, I know. I go, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. He's like, no. He's like, that's my friend. And he had a heart attack. I go, I know. But it is exciting, like it's. I'm not saying it's good, but it's exciting. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you should admit it's a little exciting.
Let's pretend he didn't have the heart attack.
And he goes, all right, it's a little exciting. And then someone came in. I'm like, this guy said it was exciting that Ray had a heart attack. And he's like, I hate it. I fucking hated that guy, Cam. Oh my God, I hated that guy.
I think finding a loophole like this
and ruthlessly exploiting it. Yeah.
You mean the Cold Stone closing, or do you mean this thing?
This thing, the thing that the person wrote in. No, I think that's a boy crime. I think it's very innocent. I think.
Stealing all the consoles? Which one are we talking about?
He's talking about the gift
loophole.
certificate.
Oh, the gift certificate still. Oh, okay.
He's like, no, it's stealing all the consoles.
No, I think it's a completely innocent thing, and I think a clear thing is in there. He said it wasn't until the next year that it said 1 per customer, and he also said that the people working it kind of gave him a look when they would give it to him, but they still gave it to him. They probably knew, but they were like, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't say one
Doesn't
per customer.
say one per customer.
It seems like it's less of a crime than the person who took the water out on their cart, because it's like one is clearly illegal, even if the person's like, go ahead. It's still illegal.
That's interesting.
Whereas this isn't. This is just sort of like, it's very gray.
Yeah, that's interesting, because we judge that as not even anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this.
I don't think this is anything either. I think this is a very innocent thing.
You're just a smart kid.
Yeah, I think it's a boy crime because I'm sure he felt like he was doing a Ocean's 11 level heist. You know what I mean? In his mind, he was doing something really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been one employee at a register at one of the stores that went, I don't know. And he'd be like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I fucked up and I did this and it's my fault. You know?
It's funny because we say that he just exploited a loophole, but he did change his outfit every time he went back.
It's kind of theft by deception.
I was just going to say, like, when you add in the deception to it.
Said the dad did the same thing, even though they're giving him, we don't know if he needed to change his clothes and do that each time.
Yeah,
we genuinely don't, right? Like I remember, trick-or-treating as a kid, right? Here's an example. You find the house that like gives out the full-size candy bars. We would I'd be with a group of friends that were trick-or-treating. If we knew that house was there and we got the full-size Butterfinger or whatever it was, we're coming back to the curb and looking at each other's costumes being like, what can you change? What can I put on that you have? What can you put on that I have? So we just look a little different when we go to the door again. And it's so obvious. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the person's just like, I don't care. You're one of like 1,000 kids that came here tonight. You know,
we did it for the
bars.
we did it for the house that was giving out cans of soda because they worked at the Pepsi factory or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm changing.
This is when it was brand new.
Yes, Pepsi
was a big deal.
Pepsi was still called Brad's drink at the time, and I changed from like my Edmonton Oilers jersey, where I'm like, I'm a hockey player, but just wearing the jersey, to like a Vancouver Canucks jersey, and that's it. That's
you change the costume to the different
different hockey player. But there's an hour between.
When they answered the door and Brad didn't say trick or treat, he went, "I'm a different guy."
I have one more.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Everything's fine.
I was going to say, these days, like I can't remember the last time a trick or treater came to my house. I go to my mom's house because maybe she'll get like 3 or 4 people, and she buys candy for like 30 to 40 people.
Yeah.
So I hold it out. Like, you don't even have to try to trick me. I just hold that. I'm like, take as much as you want. I don't care. And the kids are like, shh, yeah.
I'll trick you into taking it.
See, we get trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood, but like there's other families there and stuff. But I will say over the past couple of years, we've noticed like more lights are off when I'm going trick-or-treating with my son. I take him around.
It sucks because I love the idea of trick-or-treating. And so it's bummed me out that it kind of hasn't really happened at my house.
Well, check this out. This year, one of his friends, we've already talked about this. I was like, hey, I think you're at that age now. He's 10, where it'd be like, you probably don't want to just do this with your dad. That's been our thing. Your friends, you should talk to your 2 best buddies and see if you want to go trick-or-treating all together. And he was super pumped about that. And I went, hey, doesn't your friend live in like a pretty nice neighborhood? He's like, yeah. And I'm like,
that's where you're going to go.
Houses are closer together? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I think we go trick-or-treating there this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and it's,
sure.
you got to find the rich neighborhood.
Oh, for sure.
You go to the rich neighborhood.
That. Oh, yeah. No.
Hell yeah.
I'm big into trick-or-treating. I just think that is a fun part of trying.
I got my mom to drive me to another neighborhood when I was in 4th grade.
Nice.
Because our neighborhood sucked for trick-or-treating. And I was like, over here is great. And she drove me over there, and she just like stayed in the car, and I walked around the neighborhood with the other kids and trick-or-treated.
That's fun.
Yeah.
See, that's a good mom.
You would have loved it. There was a lady giving out a can of soda, a can of Pepsi, and a individually packaged powdered donut. Happy Halloween.
Yep.
I remember getting those loose like marshmallow peanuts, like they're real big and look like peanuts. They're about like this big. I remember getting them, those gross things. Yeah, those disgusting things.
Those things are bizarre.
Pennies. I remember people give away pennies all the time.
I didn't like I hated the pennies. I was like, just tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
I said,
don't give me 5 pennies.
Yeah. What the fuck is this?
Fuck you. As soon as you see them.
Last email. When I was a senior in high school in 2010.
We're not doing the name?
It's from James.
2010, senior in high school.
Yep.
Wow.
I had a good friend who worked
locked up.
I had a good friend
for you.
who worked at the local theater. Friday nights, I would get out of my job before the movie theater closed, so I'd head over there to hang out with him. We would typically grab some food, head to Blockbuster, and rent some movies and spend all night hanging out. Except one time we had our food and rentals. We were driving by our school.
This was 2010?
Yep.
What Blockbuster? What the okay, this is all fictional.
Okay.
2010 Blockbuster?
That's what he says.
It could be. There's still one Blockbuster right now.
So, and this was this is the second to last one.
We were driving by our school.
No, there was one because the movie Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie that came out in 2009.
Yeah.
I bought 1 million copies of those from a Blockbuster to resell them at a movie store for way more than I bought them for.
Okay.
So that was around that time.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You know, I remember that happened.
We noticed that at the football field, someone had left the ambulance access gate open. For anyone unfamiliar, it's just a large gate that can be opened so an ambulance can drive onto the field if a player gets injured. It was a little past midnight and no one was around. We thought it would be awesome to drive his car around the running track that looped around the outer perimeter of the football field.
Yeah, all right. This is I get this thinking, and this is what leads to like this is just the tip of boy crimes. Like this is like, no, we'll just go around the track. The track's fine. We'll go around the track.
We drove down to the
Cut
field,
to,
through the fence, and whipped his car around the track a few times. Couple laps in, and we see some headlights turned down the street. At this point, we were at the exact opposite end of the track, the farthest point we could be from the ambulance gate. Since it was so late, we feared the headlights were the cops and panicked. I told my friend to drive diagonally through the football field back to the gate so we could skip out the back way, which doesn't lead to the main street. He tore through the field, and we got away scot-free without ever knowing if it really was the police. Little did we know at the time the field was a bit wet, and as we cut across to evade being seen, the car did a bit of a number on it. For the rest of the school year, the soccer team was pissed at the football team because they thought the football team destroyed the shared field. Meanwhile, the football team was pissed at the soccer team for the same reason. My friend and I never came clean about what actually happened, but we did think that causing friction between the two teams was a bit funny. Boy crime? I'll leave that for the court to decide.
I say, boy crime. That's a great boy crime.
Yeah.
It goes up to high school, and we've talked about the idea of it continuing on in a more of a crime in spirit kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Boy crime in spirit. That is a boy crime. It feels very much like that, where if you see that open thing, you're like, yeah. I can't tell you how many places, either my mom's or my friends' parents' cars, were in completely fucked up situations because we were teenagers driving around in the middle of the night with nothing to do. You know what I mean?
Of course.
At one point, we got a car in a mini golf place, like in the mini golf course.
So what'd you do with it?
Well, we had to get it out of there after a while. It would we did it because we got it up on the top of like a fake rock mountain where the waterfall is.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was dumb, and it could have easily turned out horrifically bad.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm surprised that thing didn't collapse.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I mean. Is like, or completely damage the place. I don't think you could even tell the car had been in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just stuff. You drive into different things. That's what happens. That you're supposed to. I feel like you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I like that this last boy crime has the additional bonus of like enjoying your crime afterwards, like watching the teams fight it out. Like, why would you just assume it was somebody from the other team? Like, it's a weird thing.
When I did the enema at that high school, they thought it was the soccer team, and they canceled the soccer season as punishment.
Really?
Yeah, I did it at the end of the summer, and they thought it was a prank by the soccer team, and they canceled the soccer season to punish them.
Why the soccer team?
Holy shit.
Which, like, how much shit was it? They thought it was 12 boys.
He's got the shit of 12 boys in him.
Maybe can we kind of
Why
say
the soccer team though?
Can we say that my enema is the highest you can go with a boy crime before it turns into a felony? I think it should, right?
No, I think there's higher. I think you can go higher. Yours is more just gross. You know what I mean?
It is gross.
Can I offer an opinion on this? This driving
Please.
around
That's what
thing?
this is what court is for.
I think if you drive onto the field intending to cause damage, felony. You're driving around the track, not causing damage, and then in a haste to escape, inadvertently damage the field. Boy crime.
I like your line of thinking.
Thank you.
But I think 2 kids doing donuts in a football field would still be a boy crime.
I think it's shitty. I do think ultimately I can picture in the movie of this situation, even if they were intentionally doing donuts on the field, the sheriff going, They're just kids.
Yeah.
They're just kids fucking around.
Oh, I got some bad news. It's in Texas, and the big football game is the next day.
Oh, they're dead. They're
The
absolutely
team's
dead.
going to have to cancel.
Yeah,
No,
they're
the
dead.
sheriff's going to kill them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We also have Varsity Blues.
Yes.
Nobody stops that game from happening.
Yeah.
Do you understand me, boy? Oh, he called him boy.
Oh, that's not.
Oh,
That's
no.
a bad sign.
Oh no! Yeah. What about you? What do you think of that?
About
just the
Driving around.
they were driving around,
well, I think
quote unquote, innocently.
I feel like it also like money comes into play too. Like if they're doing donuts on the football field and it costs the taxpayers $15,000-$20,000, that's a pretty big deal.
That's true. I didn't
to be
think
fair,
about
they
that.
weren't doing donuts.
They were just driving through. Right?
They were scared of getting caught,
Yeah.
and they shortcutted through the field.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And it fucked up the field.
I didn't think about that. The idea
That
of like
is-
how
yeah.
much money gets cost to somebody. That's a good
Right.
question.
Somebody's
too.
paying.
Yeah.
Probably the taxpayers.
That's true. Yeah. I think that's a boy crime.
Like schools with their razor thin budgets and shit are now like, oh my God, what did they do to our fucking field?
They're like, well, we gotta cancel
No
art.
science. Yeah, no science next year. That's great.
Yep.
No, that's a boy crime, I say.
That's why he had to write in.
Yeah.
Because they did spend the taxpayer dollars, and he didn't learn about the judicial system.
Right.
Like civics went out the window as soon as that happened. I got to say, boy crime.
I think it's a boy crime as
crime.
well.
Boy
Agreed.
crime. Yeah, don't worry about it, but don't let it happen again.
So for
Thank you, Jimmy.
to close the episode, did you ever fuck around your parents' car and do stuff that they would like be super upset if they found out?
1,000,000% yes.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. I have just now at 41 this year let slip a couple of the things that I did with my mom's Dodge Neon when I was in high school. Like just this year.
Yeah.
Where the statute of limitations have run out, where I'm like, it's fine. I can tell you now that I did these things. The one that I told her very recently when I saw her, I brought my son Finn up to visit in Maine, and we were talking about this. York's Wild Kingdom is a amusement park and zoo in York, Maine, and they have a haunted hayride during the fall time. We would often drive around and just be there. I was in my mom's Dodge Neon with I think my best friend was in the passenger seat. We had 2 guys and 2 girls in the back seat, and it's a little Dodge Neon, high school kids driving around. And we would occasionally drive into the amusement park because in the winter it was shut down. This was in the winter, sorry. It was shut down, and it was novel, the idea of driving through an amusement park, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And so we got to where the zoo part was. We couldn't get in there, obviously, but the hayride road was open, and that goes like 1.5 miles through the woods out to a back road on the other end.
Okay.
So we start driving down that road, and really quickly, because I'm like, oh, there's tire tracks, but they're like tractor tire tracks, and it's those are too deep in the snow, and now we're rubbing up against, like, the underside of the car is rubbing up against the snow, and it's like frozen on the top snow. So we realized, like I stopped for a second. I'm like, I got to back out of here. We can't do this. And the car got stuck.
Of course.
And so we got it moving. The only way we could get it moving is forward. So I had to white knuckle it. And I was like, we just have to keep driving forward and see what happens. And we go through, and it's just like, just scraping up the bottom of the car and stuff. And I thought for sure the car was going to get stuck like halfway through. And then we were going to have to figure out in 1999 or 2000 how to call someone to get a tow truck out into the middle of the woods, right? Like it was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, we did so much. My best friend Sean, he got a hand-me-down Subaru from his dad. He did shit to that car where to this day, I'd be like, I would fucking kill you if you were my kid, right? Like, I would absolutely destroy it. I mean, that car was beat to shit. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't surprise anyone here, not even Brian, who met me at length today. Not an adventurous driver in my youth. I was the passenger in a car that did foolish things. I cannot think of a time
You
that
said that like you gave somebody road.
we did some foolish things. If you know what I mean.
All right, I'm the fool again tonight.
Let's fruit bowl it, boys.
Before every car ride, shotgun. Shotgun.
But I, you know, like Chuck has talked in the past about playing car tag, the idea of you're driving around town and you have to slap another car or whatever.
Yeah.
It was so dangerous.
But
it was so fucking dangerous.
No, I do not remember. And my cars were always kind of junky, but not so junky that I would feel comfortable like, oh, I'm going to drive down this dirt road with my junky car, because I would be worried that my junky car wouldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So I never did a lot of crazy driving stuff. You know what? Can I drive your mom's car on the way back to your place? I'll get my fix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You must
really.
have done some stuff, Brian.
Yeah.
I did. I remember one time I'd pretty much just gotten my license, and my mother, like, she wouldn't let me take the car if I wanted to go somewhere for me. But if like it was somewhere for her, like, oh, we need dinner tonight. Like my mother was like a bad shopper. She would like every night she would be like, okay, this is what we're having for dinner. Go get it. Like, so I'd have to go to the store.
Yeah.
Store was just downtown. So, you know, I go downtown, and on my way back, something falls off the front seat. Now, meanwhile, my mother's station wagon was beat to shit. It was like a total piece of garbage, had dents all over it and everything. So as a new driver, you know, like I'm driving and something falls down onto the floorboard, and I go to pick it up, and of course I go do this.
Yep.
Now I'm on the side of a road where like it's residential, and I slam into the side of a car and hit it pretty good. And I'm like, I just got my license.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it, I'm going. So I drove off. I went home. My parents never noticed that that's how many dents there were. They never noticed that I dented up or scraped up the side of the car. But then the next day, I overheard somebody talking about somebody hit my mom's car last night. And I knew this guy. He was my friend, and I still didn't tell him. He still doesn't know who did it.
I'm going to text him today.
What if he's a fun bear and this is how he finds out?
Oh, no. He starts putting the pieces together.
He eventually became a cop. The buddy became a cop.
This is just how Breaking Bad ended.
Yeah, right?
He's going to be sitting on the toilet listening to this episode and then put the pieces together, and that's when he'll know. That's when he'll know.
God, he did it. It was Johnson the whole time.
When I was like 16, just got my license, there was a baseball player who had lived near my parents' house. His name was Mark Portugal. I don't know who that is. I don't know if you know who it is.
The name sounds familiar, but I've also heard you tell the story.
Almost as good as David Spain.
Yeah.
I love those David Spain and Chris Farley movies.
Oh my God.
But
So fun.
he must have been on the Red Sox. That's the team that was local to Rhode Island. And he had a big house. And we would drive by, and all my friends would always be like, do you know that Mark Portugal, when his dad died, he had him stuffed and put into the attic, and you can see him when you drive by. And I'm sure it's not true. I don't know if it was like they were all fucking with each other. I don't know if it was like a rumor, if they believed it. And I was always so frustrated that I never saw his dead stuffed dad. And so we're driving by, and my cousin Christian, again, you know, we're done with our fruit bowls, we're growing up. This is probably a year or two later. He's like, Mark Portugal's dad has a Santa hat on. And it's this very windy road. And I'm like, I slam on the brakes. It's my parents' car. And I'm like, fuck this. I never get to see Mark Portugal's dead stuffed dad. I want to see him in the Santa hat. Put it in reverse. And I guess I just didn't understand the back and forth of like, you know, when you're going backwards and you turn this way, the car, whatever. And I did it so fast. And I did that. I slammed going backwards into a telephone pole so much that the pole was in the car. It was in the car. It was just like the back of this is a van. And the pole, when we took the car off the pole was completely cracked. So we had to buy a new telephone pole for the town. And here's the thing. We crashed into it going backwards. You know what I mean? It's in the car. And we're like, oh my God. Like, are we okay? Whatever. All the tapes in the car were missing. Like we had all tapes and stuff for a tape deck. And I was like, what the fuck? They just like vaporized? We got out of the car. They were like 40 feet behind the car. Like, wow. Because we hit it. It went in the back.
If you were facing forward, that could have been you.
Yes. And my cousin Christian, we're like, I don't know what to do. But my parents' house was like fairly close. Like we could probably walk there in like a half hour. I'm like, I guess we just walked to my parents' house. We didn't have cell phones at the time. And he kept going, my neck hurts so. And I'm like, you shut the fuck up about your fucking neck. You're not going to take me about your fucking neck. The police stopped me on the way home, and they're like, and they were like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "I just got into the car accident." They're like, "That was you." They're like, "You're not supposed to leave the scene of an accident." They flipped out. My parents were very upset. I think the entire accident,
they're like, "There's the shit of 12 men in that driver's seat."
Yeah, it was like a $12,000 accident in terms of replacing the pole and replacing the van.
God
the
damn.
back damn of the van. But
I don't know. It's crazy. Like growing up in Maine, there were just so many. Like if you were a teenager in Maine, and it like the winter hits, it's snowing. It was fun to take a car out.
Oh yeah, we did donuts all the time.
Yeah, you're doing donuts, you're doing that stuff, and it was constant. Like there were nights where it's like, yeah, the snowstorm's here, and like there's 3 cars on the road, and we're driving around, and we would like help. I remember helping a car out of a ditch, and then the driver, this guy, being like, the car fell in the ditch and blah blah blah, and we push it out, and he goes to thank us, and he's talking to us, and now he's closer to us, and we all realize this dude is hammered.
Oh yeah,
he's so drunk. He went into that ditch because he's drunk.
Yeah,
but we're teenagers and we've already gotten it out of the ditch. And he's like, "Thanks so much." And he gets in the car and drives away. And we're like, I don't know what. I think we just helped something bad. But yeah, oh man, it was so much fun. We could do an episode just on
cars.
Teenage car shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have a lot to contribute.
Brad's like, they were being foolish.
The reason you wouldn't steal a golf cart is because they don't have a posted speed limit on the little side road.
I didn't know how fast I could go.
I don't want to break the limit.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's really great. But yeah, very, very much an innocent boy crime.
Yeah. Boy crime.
Well, thank you all to our listener viewers who wrote in. As always, we'd love to hear from you. Funbearablepod@gmail.com or through the socials @funbearablepod.
Yeah, and thank you very much, man, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
it was great. It was awesome. I was like, Brian's the perfect dude to do boy crimes with. You know what I mean?
Yes. You said he's the perfect dude to do boy crimes with, and we said, "Do you mean record the episode?"
And then he went,
he has a van.
Yes.
He has a van, and I think he has some boys.
He's fully stocked.
No, this was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I really do appreciate your full willingness to just be like, let me put on this ridiculous wig.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Isn't it disturbing how quickly you just get used to it?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel hot. It feels natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
I feel like walking around just judging people in real life.
Yes.
Next time we need
Boy
the robes.
Now, if I can only figure out how to make a leather holster for this.
Exactly. Spinning it.
Guilty.
Awesome.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you, and also thank you to the Tell 'em Steve Dave studio for helping us out with a place to record.
Yeah.
We are Funbearable.
One more thank you.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I want to thank the fine people that wrote in their boy
Specifically.
crimes.
Yeah.
Please do, if you have a boy crime, if this spurred something on in your memory banks, definitely let us know. Funbearablepod@gmail.com is the email address. Shoot us a line. You can say, hey, I don't want my name on this. Make it anonymous, fake it, whatever.
Yeah.
Chuck's Loose Stools wrote this one.
Yeah, exactly.
They read a lot. But for Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten and Bryan Johnson, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
Now, if you can stay for the next episode, we're going to be doing the teen crimes.
Okay.
It gets very sexual. It's extremely
So the girls involved
sexual.
at least.
Not this.
Oh no.
Never.
No.
Never.
Different wigs.